From 2016 to 2018, the University of the Philippines has registered a win-loss record of 19-23. Not that impressive, by any means, for any team that has long enjoyed a winning tradition. But in Diliman, the standing, which is not even at .500, is to be celebrated. After all, from 2007 to 2015, the Fighting Maroons only had 13 wins to show out of 126 games. Players from that time are candid enough to call those years the dark days. As it turns out, though, Harvey Dent was right all along. Indeed, the night is darkest just before the dawn. Enjoy the little things. During the so-called dark days, without a doubt, wins were hard to come by for UP, as in the span of 9 seasons, it experienced 3 winless campaigns and a couple of one-win showings. The squad's sorry state could be looked back to as recent as 5 years ago, when they went winless in 2013, and then had to wait until the last game of 2014 to be able to call themselves winners. On a 27-game losing slide, the Fighting Maroons, 0-13 thus far that year, were taking on 112 Adamson University for their final assignment. At long last, on August 9, 2014, things went the way of the Maroon and White, and they barged back into the win column with a convincing victory, 77-64, versus the soaring Falcons. While that win was a breakthrough, it was by no means a win that had any bearing in terms of contention, and yet, the Diliman community organized a bonfire to celebrate it. Safe to say, it raised eyebrows, including those of players themselves. Kaming nga rookies, coming into the bonfire, nagtaka kami na parang, what was it for? Ang strange lang, Jarrell Lim, then a fresh recruit out of a winning high school program in Xavier, said. Mikey Reyes, the squad star guard, then went further. Medyo pathetic isipin na 1 win in 1 year, bonfire Teo. Coming off 0-27, because of 1 win against, during that time, a rebuilding Adamson team, medyo pathetic, he said. Eyes on the prize. Fast forward 5 years later, and there was not going to be any celebration of that sort even after UP had just ended its 21-year playoff drought. Walang bonfire. We're gonna enjoy this for the next few days, then get back to work for the Final Four, head coach Bo Parasol said, after he and his wards topped De La Salle University to take the 3rd seed in Season 81 last Wednesday. They now head into a Final Four matchup with 2nd seed and twice to beat Adamson a week from now. Indeed, the Fighting Maroons have come far, as they are adamant that they are not yet satisfied with just their first playoff berth since 1997. Still, the players themselves, especially the seniors, could do nothing but admit that they will never forget this moment. Sinabi talaga naming mga seniors na dream naman ever since na one day, we're gonna rise. Now, it has come to a reality, Lim said. Gilo Vito, another player who trekked the long, winding road from the dark days to the return to relevance, could only agree. Ito na yun. Pumasak kami 5 years ago, we talked about na pangarap naming mag Final Four, he said. He then continued, right now, we're living the dream. And for Vito, medyo pathetic as it was, the origins of UP's rise will always be the bonfire. Today, ito yung naging culmination ng 5 years from bonfire. Iisipin mo, yung bonfire, yung na yung naging start ng change, he said. Waking up the sleeping giant. Ateneo de Manila University celebrates its championships with bonfires. In neighboring up, a bonfire was lit to punctuate a one-win season. Now looking at the big picture, though, it wouldn't just be the planks and twigs that were lit that fateful night. That coming together in Diliman's famed sunken garden was actually a coming together for the Fighting Maroons. That was the first time in a long time not everybody was preparing for that game, the players, the management, the fans. Everybody believed na may chance come, Reyes said, remembering how energized the community was in gearing up for that game. And when they did pull off the long-awaited, much-wanted win, it served as a reminder that there remains the State U faithful who have tasted all the bitterness there could be and just want a taste of sweet's victory. Considering now young Laro, Samoa, then nag dinner pa and now traffic pa kami sa edsa on the way back to up, nagulat kami sa nakita naman sa bonfire. Sa totulang, sinabi na naman before pa na magbo bonfire, pero sa tingin ko, wala namang pupunta dun, Reyes said. He then continued, but when we got there, the moment the bus arrived, nag wild young gato. Sa isip ko nun, wow, winning is really big enough cause it doesn't come often. Indeed, waves upon waves of supporters came to the sunken garden to celebrate with their men's basketball team as if they had just won a championship. That one win showed not all we needed to do was win kasi iba young excellence na hinahingi ng up in all aspects, Reyes said. From that point, the Fighting Maroons increased their win total year after year. And from that point, the Diliman community would never leave their side. Slowly but surely. Since the bonfire, up has proven, little by little, that there is nowhere to go but up. A 3-11, 7th place finish in 2015 became a 5-9, 6th place finish in 2016 which then became a 6-8, 5th place finish in 2017. Now in 2018, they have, at long last, barged back inside the playoff picture, and with an impressive 8-6 standing to boot. Along with that, the Fighting Maroons have also proven that, if you build it, they will come, it, meaning a fighting program and they, meaning an invested community. And again, it was all because of the bonfire, which, 5 years later, turned out to be the beacon of where State U needed go. Bakangal wake-up call yun. Even though it was a one-win season, we won, Reyes said. Lim only shared the same sentiment. Parangay and naman nair realized na maybe it was what we needed to spark the community. Indeed, even an outsider, at that point, of course, believed that bonfire to be the turning point for UP's program. I believe that is the beginning of no retagabutup. We all understood then na miran palang community ang UP that just wants to win. It was just a matter of gathering them together, Coach Bo said, referring to the alumni network that is now backing the team. Turning skeptics into believers. Of course, when UP celebrated with a bonfire, Coach Bo was still calling the shots for Ateneo. Through and through, though, he always bled maroon and green. Nasa Ateneo pa siguro ako nun, but I remember having mixed feelings then. Inayasip ko na kawawan naman ang alma mater ko na isang panalo tapos ganon, he recalled. He then continued, but then, I also understood na, with the struggles they had, alam kong maharap din para makakuha ng panalo para sa kanila. As it turns out, it would take an alumnus in Coach Bo to change the fact that maharap din para makakuha ng panalo para sa kanila. After leaving Ateneo in 2015, the always amiable mentor was signed up by the Fighting Maroons a year later. And from the moment he arrived in Diliman, he wasted no time in giving back to his alma mater. His first year was the first time in recent history that State U was still in contention late in the season thanks, of course, to Jet Manuel's leadership and Paul Desiderios' emergence. His second year was more of the same as they remained alive and kicking up until the last game of the elimination round behind the continued development of Desiderio and the arrival of eventual Rookie of the Year Juan Gomez de Leano. Still, it took until his third year for the Fighting Maroons to break through, effectively putting an end to the dark days. Light a bonfire for the bonfire. If it wasn't for the bonfire, UP would have had no light to guide it as it made its way out of the deep hole it dug for itself. From Team Vipa Casiaco, so I felt the real struggle, having no jersey, having no service during games, having no food after practices and games, Vito said. Ito na lahat yan. Ngayon, buong community. Nasa likuran naman. It's really amazing that we've come this far. If it wasn't for the bonfire, UP would have had no signal to direct it to where the promised land is. Ito yung 5 years na pinag-irapan naman, Vito said. Nagitam kami para rito. We all know that. If it wasn't for the bonfire, the Fighting Maroons would have had no reminder just how great it feels to win. And if it wasn't for the bonfire, the Diliman community would have had no reminder just how great it feels to have your teams back, whether it be a one-win season or a Final Four campaign.